In the 1960s, when the entire world's attention was focused on America's Apollo missions, something extremely terrifying was happening at the same time on our neighboring planet, Venus. The Soviet Union, meaning the Russians, planned what can only be called a suicide mission to Venus. After spending billions of dollars and years of hard work, they built a probe that would, for the first time in history, land on another planet and capture its images. But when Russian probes reached Venus, they encountered a hellish environment so extreme that it left Soviet scientists stunned. Today, we will learn about those Russian suicide missions to Venus that revealed the planet's horrifying secrets. How a small camera lens cap destroyed years of effort and billions of dollars. What was it about Venus that, even with today's advanced technology, Russia has never returned there? Viewers, during the 1960s and 70s, the Cold War was at its peak. The competition between the United States and what is now Russia was about who would become the king of space. Both nations wanted to prove their power and capability to the world. In this race, America focused all its energy on the moon. Although Russia had already landed probes on the moon and had partially won the race, U.S. President John F. Kennedy had promised the world that America would land the first human on the moon before the 1970s began, a truly massive claim. When the Russians realized that America could actually reach the moon, they shifted their target to Venus. Their goal was to prove that if America could go to the moon, Russia could even set foot in hell. At that time, scientists believed Venus and Earth were very similar. They are neighbors, nearly the same size, and located at a similar distance from the Sun. But there was one clear difference. Unlike Earth, Venus was completely covered in clouds. No one knew what lay beneath those thick clouds. It was a mystery box even for scientists. Russia believed that the moon could already be seen through telescopes, but showing the world what lay inside Venus would be an achievement even greater than landing on the moon. And if oceans, forests, or alien creatures were discovered beneath those clouds, it would be a direct victory for Russia. With this thinking, Russia planned not one or two, but a total of 18 missions to Venus. The probe designed for this purpose was called Venera, which means Venus in Russian. Scientists were sure of one thing. Venus had an atmosphere due to its clouds and closeness to the Sun, but no one knew how dense it was compared to Earth's. The Venera probes were designed to withstand extremely high atmospheric pressure. During the space race, the Russians kept their experiments secret until they succeeded to avoid public embarrassment in case of failure. On February 4, 1961, Russia launched its first probe toward Venus, but it never even escaped Earth's orbit. As per their policy, they never revealed this failure and instead claimed it was just a heavy satellite launch. Another Russian policy was to build 2 probes for every mission, so if one failed, the other could still succeed. This time, they built Venera 1 and Venera 2, whose purpose was only to fly past Venus and collect data. Venera 1 was launched on February 12, 1961, the first probe ever sent toward another planet. But just 7 days later, contact was lost. It passed Venus at a distance of 100,000 kilometers, but sent no data and is still wandering around the Sun today. 4 years later, on November 12, 1965, Venera 2 was launched, but it met the same fate. Contact was lost after leaving Earth's orbit. Throughout the 1960s, Russia made many more attempts, all of which failed so badly that they weren't even given the Venera name. These are known as ghost missions in space history. In 1966 came Venera 3 and 4. This time, Russia built much larger and more powerful probes weighing 1 ton. They consisted of 2 parts, a bus to carry the probe to Venus's outer atmosphere, and a sphere that would enter the planet. The sphere carried pressure sensors, gas analyzers, a thermometer, batteries, and antennas to transmit data. Venera 3's mission was only to analyze the atmosphere. There was no plan or equipment for a soft landing. It was a suicide mission. Unfortunately, as soon as it entered Venus's violent atmosphere, the system failed and sent no data back. It crash-landed, but on March 1, 1966, Venera 3 became the first man-made object to hit the surface of another planet. In October 1967, Venera 4 achieved partial success. discovering that Venus's atmosphere was mostly carbon dioxide. Initially, Russians claimed Venus's atmosphere was only 25 times denser than Earth's, and that Venera 4 landed safely using a parachute. Later, it was revealed that the probe was crushed like a soda due to immense pressure. Realizing their probes couldn't survive landing, Venera 5 and 6 were sent only to study the atmosphere. They had just 50 minutes to transmit data before being destroyed, and that's exactly what happened. Then came Venera 7, built like a tank, designed for one purpose only, survival. Due to a technical issue, it could only send temperature data, but scientists used that to estimate surface pressure, 90 times greater than Earth's. Its parachute tore apart, and it slammed into the surface at 17 meters per second, landing upside down with its antenna facing the ground. Despite this, it transmitted signals for 23 minutes, becoming the first probe to send signals from another planet's surface. It recorded a surface temperature of 465 degrees Celsius, hotter than an oven. Doppler shifts in its signal revealed winds blowing at 360 kilometers per hour, stronger than any hurricane on Earth. Venera 8 improved further, confirming that despite thick clouds, Venus's surface receives enough light to see clearly. It survived for 60 minutes, nothing short of a miracle. Venera 9 to 12 brought both great success and great misfortune. These UFO-like landers carried cameras, but lens caps failed to open. Venera 9 sent the first image from another planet in 1975, revealing Venus's rocky, deadly surface. Venera 13 and 14 marked Russia's golden era. They recorded the first sounds from another planet, captured color images, detected quakes, and analyzed soil. But in Venera 14, a spring-loaded soil tester accidentally tested the hardness of its own camera lens cap, wasting millions of dollars due to a tiny mistake. Venera 15 and 16 shifted strategy, orbiting Venus for 8 months using radar to map its surface. These missions revealed mountains 88 kilometers high and cracks thousands of kilometers long. Thanks to these Soviet missions, we know Venus is unimaginably hot, has 90 times Earth's pressure, an atmosphere full of carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid clouds, constant violent storms, and a razor-sharp rocky surface. Because of these missions, Venus is sometimes called the Soviet planet, with many valleys and craters named in Russian. If Venus's clouds are made of sulfuric acid, why doesn't acid rain reach the ground? Write your answer in the comments. Don't forget to like and share. See you in the next amazing video.